And welcome to our Talk Politics Midweek Roundtable. I'm Roby Brock. We are joined by KATV's Elicia Dover, Skip Rutherford, Dean of the Clinton School of Public Service, and Clint Reed, Republican strategist with Impact Management Group. Thanks to everybody for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
I'm the only
us.
one without a tie. Well, Elicia didn't have a tie, but you don't have to, so it's good. So our midweek roundtable, easy format. Everybody brings a question to the table. I'm going to let Elicia go first.
All right. Well, this is a story I've been covering extensively, unless you've been living under a rock. You have likely heard about Justin Harris, Representative Justin Harris, and his situation with rehoming his adopted daughters. Now, Minority Leader Eddie Armstrong calling for his resignation. So I guess my question to all of you is, ultimately, do you think he will have to resign?
I'll start. I think it's too early. I think there are a lot of facts that still have to emerge, and I agree with Asa. Some of those facts are going to be hard to emerge, just based on the sensitivity of the issue. I think the thing that's getting lost here is the legislation that is pending out there. I commend, the House and the Senate, Democrats and Republicans, for working together to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And I think that's where the focus should be. I think everybody wants to focus right now on, is he going to go? Is he going to stay? Time will tell. And I think everybody should be patient. I don't think anyone should rush to judgment right now.
This is where it gets to the point, though. If they pass that piece of legislation to stop this rehoming situation, as it's been labeled, then you've got a sitting member of the state legislature who there is a bill passed to make what he did a felony based on the circumstances of his case, and his fellow members have basically said that was a wrong thing to do. And that's where I feel like there's going to be a moral problem there, if nothing else, in terms of that legislation, if it passes, and I suspect it will, because I think everybody's appalled at this whole process of rehoming.
Well, it's a sad situation all the way around. There's no doubt about it. But I tend to agree with Clint, and I know that puts me in disagreement with some that I'm usually on the side of. But I think we need to let the facts play out here. We got a lot of lives at stake, including children. And I think the governor is exactly right. We just need to get the facts. We need to be calm. I believe that nature will take its course when all the facts are out there. And I don't think people ought to rush in, and we need to depoliticize the situation rather than repoliticize the situation.
But I think, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here as much as anything else. I don't think that he did anything illegal. I mean, there may be something that surfaces eventually in terms of influence with DHS that may change that opinion, but what he did was perfectly legal. My question is, it's become a distraction. It is something that happens every time he's going to be in a committee.
But you don't resign over distractions. I
agree with Skip. We're at a point where there are a lot of distractions up there.
Yeah.
And the issue I have with this overall issue is everyone seems to want to talk about their personal opinions and how they feel about it. And I think, y'all are entitled to do that. I think at the end of the day, people should just stop, realize that the number one issue here is these children, and that we don't want to have their lives played out on, statewide TV. Is there an issue? Sure. I think members of both legislative bodies have recognized that. They're moving forward on that. I agree with Skip. It'll play out the way it's supposed to. I think everybody should just calm down a little bit.
All right, let's go to the next question of the day. Skip.
Which is mine?
Yeah.
My question is, what do you think about the proposed changes in the lottery, the changing of the scholarship amount, the changing of eligibility requirements, and the relocation of the department itself into DFA?
Yeah. Elicia?
Okay, I'll go ahead and start. I think that, to me, I don't think the general public really cares what house it's under. I think that your average, everyday mom and dad care about the amount of money their child is getting to go to school. And that freshman year is the hardest time to convince kids they need to take that route and go to school. $1,000 to me is chump change, and is something that pretty much any organization can come up with. So I think that as far as the freshman goes, I think that that's a very unimpressive number.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I've got a kid in college, so I mean, this is something that plays on. I got two more on the way eventually, so we have not relied on the lottery scholarship. It has not been a significant enough amount of money to change where our child's going to go to school, but for a lot of people it is. I kind of disagree with you. I think that the dollar amount matters, and there's obviously the focus now is on retention versus admission, which is what they're trying to push for. There'll be some savings from that. I do agree with you, though, Elicia, in that I don't think the general public cares where the Lottery Commission is housed. I think with it being in DFNA now, it is going to be under executive management. I think it just really kind of gives a clean slate to the lottery as a whole, which has had its black eyes over the last couple of years, and kind of gives them a fresh start.
Well, people run down the lottery. We forget that 30,000 students every year get lottery scholarships. You can debate $1 million here and $1 million there and all that stuff, and I know those are big dollars, but still a lot of people have benefited from it. I basically support the changes because I believe that there were a lot of people between their first and their second year that were dropping out. We were losing millions of dollars. This way, it encourages people to complete college. I think retention is every bit as important as recruitment. Having been in the higher ed business, retention is a little harder than people think.
Yeah.
And that $5,000 amount you get for your senior year, which is the highest amount, I think it's a good thing. Now,
That's a good incentive, I can tell you as a parent.
and I think, again, we need to up the graduation rates. I know admission rates are important. I don't want to knock people not being able to go to school, but we have got to do something about our graduation rates and our retention rates, and I think this is a step in the right direction. Plus, it's good, responsible fiscal management.
Two things. I agree with Elicia that the average person out there, they don't know, they don't care. They want to make sure government's running right and their kid gets a great education. I agree with Skip. We've got to make sure that those kids that go to school, they continue to move up in the college ranks and ultimately graduate. Sort of the inside baseball stuff that I see is now that you have the lottery commission that is no longer there, fighting with the legislature, and you have it under DFNA, I think it will run smoother, and it makes for, with ASA keeping his fingerprints on it, I just think it will run a lot better and have much more efficiency.
Well, and there had to be some changes made too. It'd be interesting to see what those changes are, and I don't have a crystal ball on some of that. So, all right, Clint, your turn.
National issue, Hillary email issue. Will it help, hurt? Will it slow down her presidential campaign?
So you look at me first to answer that question?
Why would we do
the
that?
Why would you look at me for that?
Dean
Why would you
Rutherford
look at
of the
me?
Clinton
Why would you
School of
look at me?
Public Service?
I think it is a distraction.
Sure.
And we've just been talking about distractions. But I think by the time 2016 comes around, if she runs, I don't know whether she's going to run or not, but if she does,
running.
I don't think the issue will be emails. I think the issue will be the economy and jobs.
I'll go ahead and throw out what I think. Journalists all can agree that public documents and access to those public documents are of the utmost importance, no matter which side of the aisle you fall on, whether you're a very liberal journalist or a really conservative journalist. So I think that is something that as reporters, it hits home with them, and something that I hope they don't let go.
Yeah, I would say too that there's going to be a lot more distractions for Hillary Clinton in this campaign besides just the email situation. I think that it will be a scandal that Republicans will continue to revive and blow new flames on, just like they have with Benghazi, and whether it's any other scandal that you can put on the Clintons' plate there. I just think that they're going to be relentless in putting those things
We'll
out
see
there and
lawsuits
keeping them
filed.
alive.
Yeah,
so.
it's going to be the nagging issue.
Well,
The
again,
Associated Press already filed
Well,
one.
and again, I think when you are someone as well known and as a front runner as she is, both on the Democratic side and in the general election right now, if she runs,
You're a big target.
You're a big target.
Yeah, going to be. All right, my question is Senator Tom Cotton this week made a few headlines. I don't know if anybody noticed that or not. They were a little bit national, even international in nature. He spearheads an effort to lead some senators with a letter to Iran on how our Constitution works, basically, and to not trust this agreement that the president's negotiating. Is this a shrewd political move by Tom Cotton, or was this a dangerous political stunt? Clint goes
jump
first.
in?
How about that?
I was thinking of your question there. I think at the end of the day, he believes very strongly about his positions on foreign policy, and I think you saw that. He spent a bit of time. I read an article, I believe it was Politico, before I came over here, about how he worked the phones over the last few days, recruiting people to sign on to that. He firmly believes it. The issue that I have here is I believe that Tom Cotton is in touch with the Arkansas voter in a way that a lot of politicians haven't been in the past. You're seeing that with things he's taking bold leadership positions on. And I believe at the end of the day, mainstream Arkansans believe what Tom Cotton believes.
Kind of like the Rotten Hell
That's right.
comment of the Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was about as irresponsible a foreign policy as shutting down the government was as irresponsible a domestic policy. And I think Tom Cotton probably could run for president of Arkansas. But I don't think it was in the best interest of the country. And I think when you saw Senator Corker, the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Republican from Tennessee, not sign the letter, the chairman of the committee, I think it speaks volumes.
Yeah, but one issue I take with that is there were 48 other senators who signed on to that letter. So
46, because there were 47 that signed it.
yeah, I mean,
I read an article too where Corker said he did not realize that that the issue was going to be as big as it was too. I think he underestimated how much momentum
But
Cotton was
again,
going to have on
shutting
that.
down the
But I think it doesn't.
shutting down the government was a big issue
Yeah.
for a while. It played, picking Sarah Palin on the ticket was a big issue for a while. So again, I think when you look at decisions long term about foreign policy in this country, America has never had, to my knowledge, two foreign policies at the same time, that you unite when it comes to foreign policy. I respect Senator Cotton. I think he's smart. I think he's genuine in what he believes. I don't deny that, and I respect him for that. I think he knows his issues well. I think it was just an act that was not in the best interest of the country.
One thing that I think is very telling is ABC's Jonathan Karl questioned Tom Cotton on, was this an intentional decision to try and disrupt these talks with Iran? And he wouldn't answer the question. He said, look, my whole goal is to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon. Question him again, is this your intention? He wouldn't answer. Go see that interview. I mean, it's very interesting. Another thing, though, that we were talking about, people signing on to this, a couple of governors have also signed on. Governor Rick Perry out of Texas, Bobby Jindal out of Louisiana. We asked Governor Hutchinson if he plans on signing on to this, and he kind of gave a funny remark, Roby, didn't he?
Yeah, he basically said that he was a little busy with the legislative session right now, didn't really have time to negotiate Middle East peace.
the only difference is Bobby Jindal and Rick Perry are running for president. Asa Hutchinson's not.
And I got to say that again, within the Republican Party, it probably is good politics. I think for the country, it's not.
All right, going to end it there. A quick preview of this Sunday's TV show. I'll have Tom Cotton on Top Business and Politics on Sunday, so maybe some of these questions that we've brought up here we'll ask again. Clint Reed, Skip Rutherford, Elicia Dover, thank you so much for your participation.
Thanks.
And thank you guys for watching our Talk Politics Midweek Roundtable. You can keep up with the latest political news at KATV.com or talkbusiness.net.